Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode in our AEW What If series in TEW 2020. We are on the first week of June in 2020, and we are we're making our way through the summer time. We've got a lot of stuff happen. Last week, we had quite a bit of an upset as Adam Cole pulled off a victory over the former AEW World Champion, so that was huge. Granted, there was some shadiness behind it, but he still pulled off a victory. Of course, we had a brawl to end the show. We also had a lot of other stuff happening. Tonight, it was announced on social media before the show by Tony Khan that tonight we are going to see the blow-off of two feuds that have been going on for a little while now. We're finally going to see things put to an end in singles competition, as tonight Dr. Britt Baker goes one-on-one with Kaylee Ray. Of course, that feud has been building for months, constantly getting other people involved. Well, tonight, nobody else to get involved. One-on-one, those two going at it. On top of that, thanks to her being able to wrestle once again, we will see the one-on-one matchup between Mia Yim and Martina here tonight as well. So we'll have an ending to that feud as well. We'll see some other stuff getting continued and going from there. So let's dive into things with our unofficial Dark happening. We see Mansoor defeating QT Marshall in 620 by submission to start off Dark. 42 rating, 42 for Mansoor, 33 from Marshall from QT, who seemed off his game. They have great chemistry, so that's good to know. But Mansoor getting a victory here on Dark. 4,243 people in attendance for the show, by the way. Pretty cool. We get 29 here as Alice Crawley defeats Roxy in 728 by submission. Both of them with a 26. I'm not sure why they only got a 26. I guess just inconsistency. Alice Crawley had been normally doing better than that in previous matches, so she's really had an off night apparently. But Crawley gets the victory here. Gets her first victory in AEW. I'm going to look. This is her first time under our contract that she's won a matchup, so there's that for her. 27 here for Ricky Starks being interviewed by Andrea Ocampo. Just kind of talking about wanting opportunities here in AEW. Just a basic interview for him. He hasn't quite hit his absolute level at this point. He's still just kind of a newer face who, he's coming off a little bit cocky and everything like that, but he's still kind of working out a lot of the stuff, so. We get 51 here for this. Probably could have happened on Dynamite, but the problem is that Walter doesn't have the popularity yet. But he defeats Jigsaw in 6-11 by pinfall. 53 from Walter, 43 from Jigsaw. 51 rating for the match itself. Just Walter looking dominant. Gonna start, potentially getting him on Dynamite to get him some popularity, because obviously, he should be, a great talent for us to be using, but I need to get his popularity up first so I can use him on Dynamite, really. And then the main event of Dark sees Priscilla Kelly win a 4-way matchup in 8:25 when she got Maki Ito to submit to a Roma clutch. 42 for the match, 35 from Alley Cat, 40 from Maki Ito, 35 from Penelope Ford, and 41 from Priscilla Kelly. So, pretty interesting stuff there. Getting Maki Ito to tap out in a 42 rated matchup, but not bad. Not bad from our filled. I don't want to say that. From some of the women who are fighting for that popularity, fighting for that spot. Obviously, especially with Priscilla Kelly here, there's a little bit of story there because, she used to be featured on Dynamite more. She used to be involved in storylines more, and then she's kind of faded back to Dark levels. So now she's really trying to fight to get back onto Dynamite to be featured on the regular TV show more often. We get a 61 rated match to start off the show. Let's see Johnny Gargano defeat Sammy Guevara in 924 by submission with a cross tin crab. Thanks to Chris Jericho accidentally distracting Sammy Guevara. It was one of those things where Guevara was going up for the 450. Jericho came down and started cheering him on, and this was enough of a distraction for Gargano to be able to move out of the way of the 450 and be able to fight back and get the victory here. 60 from Gargano, 45 from Guevara. 61 rating for the match. Good way to start off the show as Gargano makes defense number 2 of the International Championship. Now I get, this wasn't really too much of an international thing because both of them are American and all that, but there was, it was advancing that storyline. The idea that Jericho cost Guevara the match here, basically. Then after that, we get a 72 rated segment backstage where where Jay Lethal, is walking around confident, AEW World Champion. And Steven Regal shows up. It says, I heard what you've had to say lately about how people have to earn their opportunities against you. And you know what? I do agree. I do agree that they have to earn a shot at the AEW World title. But that doesn't mean that you can walk around here and pretend that you're the one who gets to pick who your challenger is. I'm the one who's in charge around here. I'm the one who makes the matches around here. And if you think that you get to kind of pick and choose who you're going to be wrestling, or if you're even going to be wrestling at all, then you are sadly mistaken. Because tonight in the main event, you're going to be in non-title action against Hangman Adam Page. The crowd pops for that, and Lethal's just not thrilled about that at all. 72 rated segment, as there you go. We got our main event, Jay Lethal versus Hangman Adam Page in a non-title matchup. I gotta imagine that if Page wins that match, he gets a shot at the world title, which, would be huge because, it's not like it's impossible. I mean, Adam Cole pulled off the upset last week. You never know if we get it, are we going to get back-to-back upsets in the main events? We'll have to see. We get 67, speaking of Adam Cole, we get 67 rated segment where Adam Cole is out in the ring. Comes out to the ring and he's like, story time with Adam Cole, baby. Says, last week, everybody's been talking the last 7 days about how he pulled off an upset against Pac, but you know what? Adam Cole doesn't pull off upsets. Adam Cole gets decisive victories. He gets decisive victories, and he proves that he is better than everyone else. He went out there and he proved that he was better than Pac. And now, he should be getting non-title matches against the world champion. He should be getting opportunities to try to get a shot at the world title. But instead, it's going to Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page, really? Really? Page is getting that opportunity. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm going to have to show up during that matchup and get a close eye on Page getting that opportunity. 67 here. As there you go. Obviously, the promo was a little bit longer than that, but that was kind of the gist of it. So Adam Cole, making it clear that he's going to show up for that main event. We'll have to see what ends up happening with that. Then we get a 48 rated matchup that sees Mia Yim defeat Martina in 10:47 by pinfall of Sky Yim. 51 from Yim, 38 from Martina, who seemed off her game, which is disappointing for this blow off. I was hoping for everybody to be on their game, but that's what it is. Mia Yim gets the victory, and there you go. So the feud here, a little bit. This was always supposed to be a minor feud. It was supposed to be blown off weeks ago, but with Martina getting injured, I had to delay the final match between the two of them. So Mia Yim gets the decisive victory, and we'll have to see where things go with her. She's been picking up a fair amount of victories. Maybe she should be getting in line for a shot at the women's title. We'll have to see. Then, speaking of the women's title, we have kind of dueling promos. They're not in the same room. It's more of like we get, Alexis Kaufman, like a little bit of Alexis Kaufman video package, and then her saying some stuff. And we get a little bit of video package for Ashley Lane, and then her saying some stuff. Kind of that kind of thing. But Kaufman kind of says, she's the AEW Women's World Champion. She looks forward to any and all challengers. And she says that if Ashley Lane wants to step up and try to claim her crown, so to speak, then she'll have no problem putting her back down and looking on to the next challenger. Ashley Lane kind of saying that, kind of reiterating the same thing that she's been saying lately, that she's the queen here in AEW, that she's the queen of professional wrestling, and that she needs to have her crown. She needs to have that championship around her waist so that everyone can realize that she truly is the queen of professional wrestling and that everyone else needs to bow down to her. So 51 here, gained heat for the storyline, which is a good thing, as eventually we're gonna end up with that title matchup between those two. Will it go all the way to All Out? Probably not. All Out is our next actual event, but we'll probably end up doing like I already kind of have a plan for like a special like anniversary episode of Dynamite, so it may end up happening on that. We'll see. But yeah, there you go. 51 rated for this. Then we get a 49. I figured that's what's going to happen. As Tommy End basically just gets a squash victory over a local talent, Andy Levine. He was a local talent, so I brought him in. He got in 17. He was rusty, though. He is in the game, and he has never had a match. He's never had a match in this. There is a lot of people in here that, you know, their names, they have a little bit of popularity to them, but they're just not being hired on, so they never have matches at all, which is kind of a little annoying, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, so Tommy End gets a victory. Gets a decisive victory over a local talent, keeping up his undefeated run and his dominance here in AEW, as we'll have to see what it ends up eventually leading to. Then we get a 61 rated segment. Not sure why it did as bad. I don't know. But essentially it's just CJ Perry. You know, Miro's standing there kind of menacingly. And CJ Perry is saying that Miro is targeting Pac. You know, last week we saw that happen. Miro's targeting Pac because he is aiming even higher. He's tired of dealing with the small little guys around here. And who better to target at this point than the former AEW World Champion? He says that he's disappointed, you know, or she says that he's disappointed that Pac lost that championship to begin with because he wanted to rip that championship from his hands. But he will go through Pac, he will put him down, and then he will target the AEW World Champion because he is the Redeemer. He is the one who will be presenting that AEW World Championship to his God before the end of the year, whether anybody likes it or not. So 61 here is Miro. Kind of makes it clear he's going after Pac because he's another small guy that Miro can bully around, I guess. And that he's disappointed that Pac's not the world champion right now. So interesting stuff there. We'll have to see how that develops. Then we have a six-man tag match that gets a 54 rating, which isn't too bad, as the Thrill Seekers, Andrew Everett, Trevor Lee, and Zema Ion, defeat Private Party and Sean Dean, who apparently has joined the House of Truth. The commentators are kind of surprised by this as well. But Sean Dean has apparently just joined the House of Truth now. But he takes the loss in 12-14 when Everett pinned him after 6:30. He had a 28, 50 from Isaiah Cassidy, 54 from Mark Wynn, 59 from Zema Ion, 58 from Trevor Lee, and 53 from Andrew Everett. Yeah, 54 rating for the match. Probably would have been a little bit better if Sean Dean wasn't, you know, the one who took the loss in this, but it is what it is. In-game, or behind the scenes wise, the reason why I added Sean Dean to the House of Truth is because Jay Lethal has taken him under his wing as a you know, he's got a mentor protege thing with him. So I figured, you know, on screen it would make kind of sense if Sean Dean was there. And plus, you know, like you see here, Sean Dean can take a lot of the losses in the group. he can take a lot of the pinfalls right now while he's trying to get better. There's still plans for another person to possibly join the House of Truth, but I haven't decided yet. So you might be seeing that as well. But nevertheless, 54 here for this, as the House of Truth unable to get the job done against the Thrill Seekers in a good back and forth matchup. After the match, the Thrill Seekers are celebrating when the lights go out. When they come back on, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and the Blade are standing over the laid out bodies of Everett, Lee, and Ion. 49 here, as it seems like the Dark Order are targeting the Thrill Seekers for some reason. Not sure what's going on with that, but Uno, Grayson, and the Blade are targeting Everett, Lee, and Ion at this point, so we'll have to see where things go with that. We get 58 rated matchup here, as this gets blown off as Kaylee Ray gets the victory over Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, in 10:35 by pinfall with a Swanton Bomb. 61 from Kaylee Ray, 48 from Britt Baker. 58 rating for the match itself. Good stuff there. I thought about putting Baker over, you know, to keep trying to build her up as the quote-unquote face of the place, or what she's trying to claim she's being the face of the place. But at the end of the day, I was like, Kaylee Ray's doing too good in the ring right now to take a loss in this feud. Because I kind of want to build her up to, be kind of one of the top women in our division as well. And so, Bray could take the loss here, and she can keep, she can have it be a storyline purpose-wise. She took a loss here, so she can use that as kind of fire to keep fighting in the future, kind of thing. So, but 58 here, not too bad there, as Kaylee Ray gets the victory. So we'll have to see where things go with both women heading forward. We get a 74 rated segment as Tyler Black has a promo here, where he is talking about El Generico. Says that he doesn't really care about anything that Generico had to say last week because Tyler Black is truly a generational talent. He is truly the best wrestler of his generation, of any generation, really. And that if El Generico wants to consistently come after him, he'll have to put him down. He'll have to stomp his face in. He'll have to put him down, and he'll have to show him that you respect and admire Tyler Black as the generational talent that he is. 74 here. Good stuff. Weirdly enough, the announcing and color commentary lifted the segment. I guess Tyler Black, without announcing and color commentary, would have got a worse rating? I don't know. Weird. Anyway, not too bad there, as the feud continues with this. Speaking of, Tyler Black goes out to the ring. He has a 60 rated matchup as he defeats Chuck Taylor in 10:35 by pinfall with a paroxysm. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that one. 60 rating here, 64 from Tyler Black, 45 from Chuck Taylor. This was done as a steal of the show, and I think I might have whiffed on this one. I mean, they both got a bonus for going all out. Chuck Taylor was penalized for stamina for going that long, and they were both just inconsistent as well. So, it necessarily wasn't because of the steal of the show, although it did hurt Chuck a little bit. But it wasn't necessarily because of the steal of the show, it was just because they were both just a little off on this night. But 60 rating here as Tyler Black gets the victory. It was kind of set up as one of those that, like, he thought he was going to have a decisive victory, and then Chuck actually was, like, fighting back and was actually, like, kicking out of stuff, and Tyler was just like, what the hell? Like, he's, getting upset about it, and so they, then a bunch of moves got hit and all that kind of stuff, and the crowd was popping for it, and everybody's getting really excited. It built up into quite a bit of a match that Tyler Black ended up winning in the end, so there you go, 60 rating for this. Then after that, 59 here for this. I figured, trying to get Andrea Ocampo better, and so I'm forcing it to happen, even if it's hurting segments now. As Brian Cage is being interviewed by Andrea, talking about Jon Moxley, he says, I don't really have anything to say about him. I beat him. I don't know what bug got up his butt. I don't know why he thinks that things aren't done between us, because I beat him fair and square in the middle of that ring at Double or Nothing. I have nothing to prove against him anymore. I'm looking on to other people. I want the world title. I want to take on some of the other people who are passing me by right now. I'm going to take them on. This is when Jon Moxley shows up. This is an in-ring interview, by the way, so Moxley then comes down. He says, listen, Cage, you may think that things aren't done between us, or are done between us, but they're not. And the reason why? Because, you know what? I like to fight. I like to fight. And at the same time, I know I'm better than you. I know I can beat you. And I know that although I wasn't the better man in our match at Double or Nothing, I can still beat you. That's the reason why I want to fight, because I know I can beat you. So maybe you're not going to let me maybe you're going to try to move on, but I'm still going to be lingering around, because I still want to prove to myself and to everyone else here, I still want to prove that truth, that Jon Moxley can beat Brian Cage. So whenever you decide you want to actually step up to an actual fight again, you know where to find me. Flips the mic, walks out. So there you go. That's, we're getting a little bit of a reason as to why Moxley isn't done with Brian Cage yet. He's still kind of believing that he has, first off, he likes having the fight with Cage, apparently, but he still believes that he still believes he can beat Brian Cage. So he's going to try his best to try to prove that. Then our main event gets 74 rating. Jay Lethal has a gimmick against Skinstale. I might have already known that and forgot to change it last time. But in a decent matchup, Jay Lethal defeats Hangman Adam Page at 12:40 by pinfall with a lethal injection. 74 rating for the match. Adam Cole did come out at one point and join the commentary table. So he was watching the matchup, talking shit about Page the whole time. But Lethal gets the victory in a nice matchup here with the lethal injection. 75 from Lethal, 50 from Page. And so Lethal able to fight off a potential challenger for his world title. I guess we could call this a world title eliminator. I haven't really used the term too much in this, but I mean, they use it in real life AEW, so might as well use it. So it was technically a world title eliminator matchup, and the champion wins. So there you go. The show this week gets a 70. Let's go. Increase our popularity in 46 regions. Not too shabby there. It was, it was a pretty decent show, honestly. A few segments I hoped was going to do a little bit better, but honestly, it was a pretty decent show. We had a couple of blow-off matches that did pretty well. Obviously, the Lethal and Page match did pretty well. I was hoping for a little bit more out of Tyler Black and Chuck Taylor, but, they were just both a little inconsistent, and Chuck was penalized for stamina. Which is weird because, the match only went 10 minutes and he had 78 stamina. I got to figure out what the stamina level is in when it comes to, steal the show. I got to figure out how much it affects it. Because obviously those two would not, obviously Chuck wouldn't have been penalized for stamina if that was a regular match at that length. So I got to figure out how much the steal the show affects the stamina and figure out how to do that better. But nevertheless, not a bad show of Dynamite at all, honestly. It wasn't a barn burner. It wasn't anything that people are going to go completely crazy about, but it was still a pretty good show there. Pretty good show as we continue to develop Dynamite to keep building it up and getting it to a point where we can just keep having great stuff happening. But yeah, flip it back over to this. We got some interesting notes here. First off, Dynamite, 782,000 people watching, just about 104,000 people behind NXT. So we're closing that gap. They had a 48 this week. Saw Candice LeRae defeat Deonna Purrazzo in the main event of their show. Because, of course, in this universe, Deonna was still a part of NXT. I think. Did she actually get hired by them? Or yeah. So she was still officially part of NXT. It was in this universe that she never left. So that she was still part of them. But yeah, 48 from them. Not bad. Not too good, honestly. In fact, the NXT UK show did better than them. We got a 52. Mark Andrews defeated Joe Coffey to retain the UK Championship. So that's a little rough for them. Rod Zapata also getting a contract extension from WWE. Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona bulked up. Joey Janela quit PWG. Interesting. Robbie Eagles bulked up, so now he's not going to get penalized, because I know he got penalized in a match that I had him in. Yeah, that's the international title matchup. He only got that 34 because he's in the middle of a weight change. So now that he's got that weight change done and he's bulked up to middleweight, now he'll be back to where he should be in the ring. Jessamine Duke having an MMA fight. I don't know if she's hired anywhere. Oh, she's still in NXT. Okay. Ariel Monroe's pregnant. Good for her. She's Cedric Alexander's wife, so good for her. And the big news on this one, it seems like NXT's in some trouble. They fell back to small size. They just recently went up to medium size too. They went up to medium size last month, and they've already fallen back to small size. And actually, they did that before, too. They went up and then fell back down. So they're just, flirting back and forth with it. They go up to medium size, and then they fall back down. And then they go back up, and then they fall back down. So who the heck knows? Robbie Eagles moved up. Miro thinks Alexis Kaufman is a star in the making. Interesting. Daniel says that Britt Baker has poor ring psychology. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Let us look really quick. I don't think there's anything spoiler-wise. And there's a minor one. Also, that's how much stuff we have going on in the company right now. I didn't do anything with Cody Rhodes and Jonathan Fatu on this show. All right, so this Dynamite is our 11th highest rated show of all time. So that's not bad. That's not bad. I'll take it. That's kind of thing right now. Is we're continuing to do this. We're continuing to have 70s or so for our shows. So I can't complain about that. Matches, I can't imagine any of the matches got up there. Well, I mean, Lethal and Hangman Adam Page got 16th there. It was 74, so that's not bad. Top 10 says most attended Dynamite ever, 4,243 people showing up for the show. So we're continuing to grow attendance-wise as well. TV ratings, we were behind that episode of Dynamite. We both shows got a 1.04, but that one had about 4,000, a little over 4,000 more viewers. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine, because like I said, we're continuing to grow, we're continuing to get better, all that kind of stuff. So that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate it. And for this series, we will catch you next week for another episode of Dynamite. As we get closer to the 1-year anniversary of Dynamite, where we'll probably have some pretty big things happening on that show. And of course, on the channel. We will see you tomorrow for yet another video.